There's been some big talk. Of course, it's Toni Kroos, it's Rodri, it's an almighty clash in the middle.
Huge clash, isn't it?
Indeed. Hosselu pretty much said, "Well, we want to retire Toni Kroos."
Wow. That's strong.
Yeah. I mean,
Hosselu's getting on himself, isn't he?
I've kind of presented it in a way that's slightly misleading.
Right.
I mean, Hosselu is looking for every achievement he can get at this point, isn't he? He's really trying to maximise this purple patch towards the end of his career, so why not?
Some of the headlines you saw around this, again, are misleading, because he was actually saying, he's a great guy, and talked about the season at Real Madrid. He went, well, obviously we want to win, and that would mean it would be his last game in football.
Yeah.
Hosselu wants to retire Toni Kroos.
Hosselu, you'll get a tight five at the end of the match. That's all you get.
I tell you what, if they're down, get him on.
Get him on.
He's the man to pull it out the fire.
Well, I mean, it's a match we saw, obviously, at the last World Cup, didn't we? And I think Fulkrug scored from memory, but I can't really remember.
Well, both of them.
It was 1-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, both of them had terrible tournaments, really.
Yeah.
Which was...
Up to have Spain edging it, but only very, very slightly. Why is that?
Yeah, I don't know why Spain are edging it. It's very tight between them, isn't it? I think part of the reason that this clash is so interesting is it's not just because it's really such big names, but they've been the most entertaining teams in the tournament by some distance.
And we're going to lose one of them.
Yeah.
Gutting. Absolutely gutting.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've already lost Austria, who've been very entertaining as well. So,
But they went out in an entertaining way.
They did. We've still got Turkey.
We do.
But we've still got England.
Yeah.
Hey, positive.
Hey.
They've been entertaining for Scottish people.
Because, presumably they've been cheering us on. But I think Spain edge it because Spain, I think, for a lot of people, look like the best team in the tournament thus far. The way they've been playing, that style, you just think, can any team stand up to that? And again, a lot of people have been talking about moments, and it's suddenly the idea of systems has gone out the window. It's all about moments now, magic moments at the European Championships. And they say, like France have done and like England have done, and maybe one or two others, you could maybe say Portugal to a degree or whatever.
If you try and limit anything happening at all, then you're not going to be, you're not going to concede a goal in a moment.
Well, exactly.
Make it as boring and momentless as possible.
And then you rely on your own moments, you see. Whereas Spain are like, no, we've got a style and a way of playing, and also that will provide a load of good moments.
Well, do you not think they've got
you've got to craft the moments.
They've got a very, very well drilled, organised defence, and then in the midfield they're just very pragmatic and creative and slightly chaotic, and I like it a lot.
They've got Rodri in there.
They're unpredictable.
They are, and the two young lads playing out wide provide so much dynamism as well. Joshua Kimmich has suggested that Germany haven't yet decided on a system to play against Spain.
Oh.
Now,
gutted. Absolutely. I don't know which tie to wear to get knighted.
Joshua, we're 9 positions. It doesn't matter what system I use.
I stress that quote.
What hat shall I wear today?
That quote was not from today.
Right. Okay.
So just hit them on the break, I would say. But Jens Lehmann, that guy, the man who owns the paint and the rights to the Invincibles.
Recently seen attacking his neighbour's house with a chainsaw because part of the garage blocked his view.
Yeah. How recent was that?
Within the last few years.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
it's better than his racist text, I suppose, isn't it?
Oh, no. I don't remember that. Well, anyway, naughty, mad, troubling Jens has given 2 reasons why Germany will beat Spain. He said, because it is usually the case in a tournament that a team who are as highly praised as the Spanish and has undoubtedly shown why, the good results suddenly change.
I think a great argument against that, because he also said teams are punished if they're too small. A great example against that is Spain.
Well, he sort of drew us in with quite a thoughtful kind of their results suddenly changed. Highly praised teams usually do quite well, and then they go on to sort of say too small. Too little. Sort of pulled us in, then we just went too little. I'm very tall. I'm goalkeeper, too little.
I get what he says in that there are plenty of sides, Portugal being one in the last World Cup, where you have a great one, you have some big results, when they beat Switzerland 6-1, and you think, oh, they've clicked, they're on for it, and then suddenly they lose, and it's like, whoa, hang on, that was quite different. It doesn't always happen. But so I understand that. I in the spirit of that, I just think Germany might find a way here. I would have Spain down as slight favourites. But I think that Nagelsmann's made Germany a little bit more canny. I know Germany haven't been great in recent tournaments, but they're well aware of Spain. And with Rudiger at the back as well, he's that type of player with all his experience against very good but very young opposition. I know Morata's very experienced. They could find a way, but it's a fascinating duel.
Definitely. I mean, Switzerland gave Germany a real scare and they're a really good test for them. We haven't really seen Spain that uncomfortable yet, have we? And obviously, we're very likely to see that in periods when they play Germany. So it is. Yeah. I kind of put Spain as slight favourites because of that, but Germany are a much better side than they've faced so far, I would say. Yeah, I mean, as good as Switzerland are.
Something has to be said for like experience, and I know energetic performances from Spain. They've got a slightly younger side, haven't they? Which should cost Germany in the long run. But as long as it doesn't go to extra time, I think you'll be all right, won't you?
Well, this is kind of what Mad Jens is talking about, isn't it? Really, it's that sense that sometimes you suddenly see a big team go up purely because they haven't been tested, and the moment they are and they go behind, it's a bit new to them. They've got it's an experience they haven't had in the tournament yet, and it can all happen very quickly.
Well, it's about disrupt. Germany have got to disrupt Spain, because I think that's what's going on here. Spain, as I say, in terms of the big sides, they've got their style of playing. We know what they're going to do, and they've been absolutely brilliant. So Germany, therefore, need to kind of disrupt that. It's not the other way around.
Suffer.
Yeah, well, Spain needs to just, right, lads, we know what we're going to do, and we've got to pin them back, and we've got to do that. So that's why when Kimmich's saying, with it yet to decide on a system, of course Spain they'll have different ideas to playing Germany that they did against Georgia, for example. But we know what they're going to do. But they did go a goal down to Georgia, but you saw it as well. No, there was no cut, there was no panic, there was no nothing. And again, Georgia aren't the best of opponents. An interesting side, and we enjoyed them. But this is a very, very different test, and I fully expect Germany to try and keep it cagey and see how they go. Will they go for, again, that more sort of mid-block type thing? I think if Germany tried to press Spain, or counter-press maybe, but I don't think if they tried to press Spain, I think that would be a bad idea. I think if they play too deep, I think that invites them on too much. I think just try to keep them a little bit at arm's length, and we'll see. But when they've got Kroos in the centre of the pitch, they've always got a chance. And him versus, I mean, they're not going to be marking each other, of course, but it is a mouth-watering prospect.
Him and Rodri. A lot of people talking about Rodri and making this, this exact prediction that it will be a little bit of a battle between him and Toni Kroos, but I think it's going to be Robert Andrich. That centre circle is going to be more like an octagon. Rodri and Andrich. He is terrifying, Andrich. I don't think we've touched on it enough.
No, I think you're right. Yeah.
He is such a sort of rough and ready player as well. He really, really plays on the line. He's committed a lot of fouls and been on the end of a lot of them as well. And I think actually, if it is going to sort of go into the trenches a little bit, if it's going to go into the car park, that's the type of player that you kind of use to deal with Rodri, perhaps.
Well, I think that would suit Germany a little bit more. I'm not diminishing this German side. I'm just saying that, again, with Spain, with the pace, with the energy that they seem to have, that would be actually quite a smart way of playing. And then you've got your outball to Musiala and all that kind of stuff.
And Williams, of course.
Yeah, and it will be interesting to see, because as you've mentioned, who Spain played. Croatia, they brushed them aside, really. Italy, it was the biggest 1-0 thrashing you'll ever kind of see, really. And then the third game, dead rubber.
Team,
and we saw exactly. And we saw against Georgia. They've not really played against a player like Musiala. And in fact, you could say that about most sides in the tournament. This is why this quarter-final lineup is such an interesting prospect, in particular on that half of the draw.
And Germany are effectively 16th in the FIFA World Rankings.
Which is incredible.
It's mad, isn't it?
And I think
16 versus 8th.
Yeah, I think that's... Obviously, we remember all the great German sides of recent past. And so I think this idea that Germany will just be rolled over by Spain, I don't think anybody's saying that. And again...
Germany, like their head-to-head isn't great in Germany's favour, to be honest. I think they've not won a lot of matches against them in recent memory.
And in recent tournaments, they have been poor. But we just think, even for whatever it's worth, you just think to yourself... It's a bit like those Man City fans who go, we're playing, I don't know, Spurs or something. They were traditionally better than us. It's like, shut up. You're not in League One anymore. Do you know what I mean? But it's that sometimes the old habits die hard, right? And I think with Germany, they could always find a way. They were the ultimate example of that back in the day, and I'm kind of expecting to see that against. But I'd fancy them against Spain.
I know what you mean. Yeah, they are picking up that fear factor again. Like
we need this virus, don't we?
The game in the last 16 was İlkay Gundogan's first tournament knockout game for Germany.
I mean, isn't
that mad?
And what a player he's been. Yeah. What a stat that is, because, like that man in another era would have won a World Cup or a European Championship, or both with Germany. And I think, to mention him is correct. The experience and the quality that Germany have in the centre of the pitch. people, I think, we've talked about James Musiala, that they look really good. Yes. But I mean, Denmark did give them a big old scare. So, but I can't get it out of my head that Germany will suddenly find that old Germanic way of managing to get through.
And also, you've got the Fulkrug voucher.
Yes.
Just bring him on, get your free goal.
Mind you, Spain have got the Hosselu voucher.
True.
Which people might not think is worth as much, but talk to Real Madrid fans. Yeah. They'll tell you.
Just players who come on and just take the game by... Not even, just have the bit between their teeth. It's probably what happened with Fulkrug's teeth, too.
Too much bit.
Too much bit.
Yes.
Take the bit out of your mouth, crying out loud.
It says a lot about the austerity of our times, doesn't it, all these vouchers?
Well, look, it's a fascinating tie. It could be the final, quite frankly, but it won't be.
No, unless something mad happens.
What would have to happen?
Oh, a virus. The aforementioned virus.
I just don't know. But hopefully there'll be no thunderstorms, because we don't want to see that.
For that.
Of
Although
course.
it was cool when the lightning struck the stadium in the Romania-Slovakia game, was it?
If I was a ball-playing team, though, like Spain, I would be very much like, if I have to leave the tournament, I'll leave it now before the pitches get absolutely even more abhorrent than they've been already.
Yeah, that's true. I'll tell you something, though. This game we could see a potential player of the tournament at this game, depending on who goes through. Now, everyone's talking about Musiala, rightly so. But Williams has been great for Spain. Again, if you ignite at this time, I mean, Musiala already has, but I mean, Williams puts in it before. I mean, that goal he scored against Georgia.
That was delicious.
What I loved about that is he roofed it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people might go across. If you're close in like that, if you roof it, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it was glorious, and it showed you the confidence as well. Musiala expressed his admiration for Williams' teammate Lamina Yamal, who, of course, we've all been talking about. He said, "I like players who are strong on one-on-one, brave, and play beautifully."
He's still growing as well.
Very much so.
He's all leg, isn't he?
Yeah.
And how tall is he going to get?
Well,
about the BFG.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Well, we know that a lot of people have been talking about this, that under German law, I think we've mentioned this on the Ramble as well, that under 18s are not allowed to work past 8 p.m. There are exemptions for athletes which allow them to work until 11 p.m. But the working the rules that inhibit you from working at that age, it includes post-match media, which makes sense, and showering.
Yeah, why are they?
He could be a stinky boy if it goes to extra time.
Why are they weirdly obsessed with him showering?
No idea.
It's a bit weird. It's a bit strange, isn't it?
He's like in the sink trying to,
No showering. Straight to bed.
That's odd, isn't it?
Kinky weirdos.
Oh, someone's stinking out the bus. Come on, you.
Yeah. Sorry, he has to smell. It's the law.
He's just dousing himself in Lynx.
Yeah.
Or Axe, as they probably call it.
They probably do.
I mean, he's 16, so he's probably doing that anyway, isn't he?
Yeah, indeed. Peter, I want your prediction for this game right now.
I can't see past Spain, to be honest. I think they're playing some absolutely scintillating stuff, and the Germans have underperformed historically against them in recent history. So yeah, I see Spain doing this. They just have too much in midfield for them. They're just too unpredictable for the Germans, and I think they're going to handsomely beat them.
Cool,
handsomely.
The firm prediction there, Peter.
2-0.
I like
2-0. You having that?
Okay. I think that's a better prediction than mine, and I'm saying that because again,
change it. You haven't said it yet.
No. I have. I think the Germans are going to edge this somehow,
right?
And I think I might be living in the past.
Yeah, you might be too.
Yes. All right. Coming up in the second half, everybody, we've got Portugal versus France, of course, and some England chat because there's talk of a new formation. See you in a moment.
Oh God.
Remember throwing a dart in somebody's leg before, thinking they're just going to move out the way, just joking around. I was about 20 metres away and thought, I'll just lob this one towards said person. And they just seemed to watch it, and it went just plonk right in their leg. And I was like, you're supposed to move. I didn't do it too hard. I wasn't going to announce that to the world, but as you've asked.
Welcome back to the Football Ramble, everybody. A little Michael Owen there.
Yeah.
I was a Chelsea fan.
Let's talk about one of Michael's former sides, England.
Yeah. Newcastle made a lot of money out of that little transaction.
Appreciated you loaning him to England.
Yeah.
All that time. Or England loaned him to Newcastle, didn't they?
Yeah,
that was more what it was like. Now, there are reports that England have been training with a back three this week.
Let's try it out now.
3-3-4. Let's go for it.
Oh, now you're talking. You know, you're not allowed to play 3-3-4 in FIFA. Well, it's not called FIFA anymore.
Fever.
What's it called?
Football Fever.
They should call it that.
EA
They should
FC
call it
24.
like Fever 25.
Yes.
Apparently, the cheat on that was to play 3-3-4, and you just basically just press the back line, and so
Why can't you just like modify your formation to wherever you want that formation
It's
to be?
strange, isn't it? But yeah, apparently I was told by a gamer, professional gamer, Manchester City's
Professional gamer. Right.
that you in some tournaments you weren't allowed to play that formation.
Oh, so it's like
Because it's like a
competitive
cheat
thing.
code
Right,
sort of
okay,
thing,
so it's
yeah.
competitive.
Weird.
Right.
I was like, well, everyone should do it then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just keep moving your players around.
Well, I mean, that is very much the idea here, isn't it? That
So England have got to do it.
going to match Switzerland.
Imagine if Southgate went, well, we've been playing a lot of FIFA, EA Sports, whatever it's called now, and we're going to go 3-3-4.
And anything to avoid Ed Sheeran.
Leave Ed. Luke was slagging off Ed Sheeran. We don't need you to do it.
We don't. He doesn't have to be in everything.
Doesn't have to be in everything, yeah.
That's fair. Anyway, England have been
He
training.
was on stage with the Offspring.
Stop it!
What?
England have been training with the back three apparently this week, and
Is Ed Sheeran involved?
no.
I'll be a sweeper.
Right, this is getting out of hand now.
I agree.
What is this new formation going to give us, Marcus? I need you to be a bit more positive about England, but also I need your tactical nous.
Well, I'm trying to be keep talking about Ed Bloody Sheeran.
This is exactly the problem.
Right,
now
okay.
you're doing it. This is why you shouldn't be encouraged.
I looked at that potential formation England might play against Switzerland. I thought, I'm in love with the shape of you. No, look. So this is something I've wanted England to do actually for a couple of games now.
Right.
Is revert to a back three.
On Marcus said, good, write that down. Brilliant.
Yes, and they kind of did this a bit against Slovakia. Trippier was pushing very high. The trouble is,
You want him as far away from goal at this stage in his career.
Slovakia didn't give a damn.
Yeah.
And were like, okay, they've effectively taken one of their players out of the game, so that's fine, and we'll kick on from here. So they did sort at times, and you know what it's like with formations. They change depending on you've got possession.
Yeah.
And we know all this stuff, right? Okay. But I think that what England have been doing is just simply, it's not working. It's interesting that Phil Foden said recently in a press conference when it was his turn to speak to the media that he said he felt sorry for Gareth Southgate, and he said, he is telling us to press high. He's not telling us to go deep, as Southgate said in that interview post-match after Denmark. It was maybe certainly one of the group games. And so Foden came out and said, it's on us, the players, as well, and all this kind of chat. To me, it doesn't feel forced. It still feels like a bit of a happy camp. We understand. We've heard a couple of things that it's not got the sort of warm, fuzzy feel of 2018 or 2020, 2020 rather than or 2021, if you see what I mean. Or even 2022. So I understand that, but I don't think it's an unhappy camp. They seem to be all on the same page, and I'd be surprised if the players were at odds with the manager. Who knows post-tournament what comes out, but it doesn't seem like that. So there clearly is some kind of disconnect in what Southgate's saying and what they're actually doing. And it's been, I think, very frustrating for a lot of England fans that it's taken almost 4 games for us to suddenly hear that there might be a little bit of a change.
Yeah.
He's tried to change partner with Declan Rice, and it's kind of like, but that's not, it's not.
Is this personnel forced, though, rather than Gareth Southgate wanting to do it?
I think there's an element of that in terms of the left back. He obviously there wasn't too many options going into the tournament and injuries, and he thought that Shaw was going to be okay, but there was talk of him being okay for the second game, and unfortunately that's not happened. But it's also, it appears that the players, some of them are tired and so on, which can happen. And I think he's wanting them to play, as I say, like they did kind of at the back end of 2023. It's not happening. We've got enough evidence now. And I think it would be suicidal to go into that Swiss game and go, no, we're going to run faster, we're going to do the things better, and it's going to happen. Let's be clear. England got an enormous slice of luck / brilliance, whatever you want to call it, to stay in the cup.
It's not the sort of thing you can rely on, is it?
Absolutely not.
You're right to say what I believe you're saying, which is that thinking that, okay, this has got us so far, so it will get us further, is extremely, extremely naive. This is a massive step up in the quality of opposition we're going to face, not just in terms of the players they have, but also in terms of the tactician behind them.
Yes.
And I think, you were saying, off mic recently that
Careful.
you would quite like for us to match Switzerland.
Yes.
And I do agree with that because we saw what they did to Italy with that back four. It was 2-0, but it was a very, very dominant 2-0. The nil was underlined.
They were lucky to get nil as a man once said.
Absolutely. We need to do something different. And it's very interesting. I think if they've been training with the back three, there's very, very little chance he'll go, actually, you know what, I'll go back to what we're doing. Getting the personnel right is absolutely key, though, isn't it? There's talk that Luke Shaw might be able to play some part. I can't imagine he'd start. Well, that feels risky, although I suppose you offset the risk if you do have a back three.
Yeah, I mean, if you bring him on, I think that, if it goes again, then you've wasted a substitute. So I think if Shaw is going to be fit, I think he's maybe more likely to start. Because if he doesn't start this game, and if England win, he's starting in a semi-final. Like once, I think
final.
There's been a lot of grace given to this situation.
He has also shown that he's willing to use Saka in a similar position.
Yeah.
So maybe he will try Saka as a wing back, where he'll be a lot more protected in terms of what he's expected to do from the defensive side of his game.
And I think that's maybe
it's a possibility that I am surprised to find feels like a possibility.
Does this whole formation kind of need a bit more pressing and a bit more energy from a side who have shown very little? Yeah, who've shown very little. I mean, the worst part of like the Italy game last time out felt like it was Harry Kane was just being unable to press.
You mean Slovakia,
the
not Italy?
defenders.
Sorry.
No, I mean Italy, as in the last time we were in this competition.
Sorry, yeah.
And I just feel like the worst of them were just after 90 minutes they were just absolutely toasted.
Yeah.
It may go to extra time, and do you still want Harry Kane in this side trying to press defenders that he just can't do?
No, I think you have to keep Kane on. He can score from a half chance in a way that very few players can, and we haven't necessily seen the best of him.
He's had a few half chances this tournament, to be fair.
Yeah, but Kane warms up in tournaments, doesn't he? He's the best. Like he's one of the best strikers in the world, and I think you
definitely start with Kane. If he's completely gone by 60 minutes, you take him off.
Well, that's when you have to make that decision. But he's historically not in this tournament. He refused to take.
He did take him off against Denmark with 25 minutes to go. It was obviously a very different game. Ivan Toney is certainly talking big, and Ivan's ready for his big chance. Obviously, came on and made a difference there. What I loved though is when he was talking to the press, he was basically trying to talk his way into the team, which was great. And he said, he talking about, because some people are talking like, why not play two up front? Which would be a lovely throwback. It would be a lovely throwback, wouldn't it? And Tony said, I feel like you just put yourself about when there's two up front. It gives the opposition more to think about. I'd knock it back to H and he could pick up the seconds. And I was like, yes, if we're going to be England, let's be England. All right?
The Swiss will not be prepared for
4-4 pissing 2. No, but
they will laugh.
Oh my goodness. But I mean, the thing is with Tony, actually, he's got legs. Do you know what I mean? In a way, Kane doesn't. So
he's got legs.
And my goodness, bit of ZZ top there. Love that. Yeah. But he can take a penalty. So you actually, you're not losing that much if Kane was to go off. But I think
still haven't had a penalty. We haven't used that voucher yet.
Let's have that voucher.
A penalty in normal time, stress that.
Just said I'll phone a friend.
Yeah, so I think, the talk is Konsa's going to come in for Gay. I don't think too many people would argue with that. Maybe people might prefer Joe Gomez, but there you go. The left wing back will be interesting. Is Shaw going to be fit? Could it be Saka? I think if you play Trippier there,
it's the same problem.
Yeah, the right wing back, however, you could play Trippier and you could play Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, I guess there's an argument that Kyle Walker might be that third centre-back for that
he will
reason
be.
As well, yeah.
He will be.
I think, Alexander-Arnold's delivery is, as we know, I mean, even in the games where people were saying, the experiment hasn't worked, he was making chances.
That's right,
and we've spoken about him being a little bit hard done by there before. I think that's a change I would like to see.
Yeah,
presumably it's Adam Wharton's go next to Rice now as well. He's been rotating.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I think obviously it'll be Rice in the middle, and if it was 4, if he was to go 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1, then I think it would be Rice. And it'd be interesting to see who he goes for, because Mainu has made a difference and he's been more progressive. But as everybody says, off the ball, he can be a little bit static, and sometimes England can be a little bit more open when Mainu's on there, and he'll learn. He's going to be he already is a great midfield player. So I wouldn't be opposed to having Bellingham next to Rice in that centre.
I guess some
people may say that you have Bellingham and Foden in front of the 4. I just want Gordon on the pitch to stretch the play, and Kane to play someone in. That's what I'd like. I'd actually go Rice and Bellingham in the centre, and I'd have Gordon on the left, and I'd have Foden on the right. and Saka left wing back, because I think Foden, again,
All the fun players.
the fun players, I'd get them all in there. But I think Foden against Denmark, you saw him twice when he popped up on the right. He cut inside. One, he hit the post. Okay, blazed over. And I think Foden is bubbling, and I think he's ready to do something. But he's not going to do it on the left.
Can we get Chris Waddle in there?
Oh, now you're talking. On comms, maybe.
Now you're not talking too much.
Well, one thing we should say is that the investigation around Jude Bellingham is still going on.
Investigation.
That's what they call it. That's what they call it.
Can I take the meeting room? Yes, yes, you can.
But LBC presenter Tom Swarbrick says that if UEFA bans Jude Bellingham, we should burn the place to the ground.
Yeah, he was an advisor to Theresa May during the Brexit negotiations, so I think he's just his answer to everything is, well, just burn it down, burn it all.
He was like, we're going to go over there and we're going to get them, and it was just like,
I'm all for actionable threats, but I mean, don't do that to Geneva.
He's seen
one of
too
those
much.
beautiful places in the world.
Oh, dearie me. Did you see that the Slovakia boss, who had a little bit of an argument with Declan Rice,
The bald
Francesco Calzone, which I believe Calzone in some parts of Spain means underpants.
Oh, right.
Frank underpants.
and it's
Old Frank undies.
and it's a delicious meal in Italy.
It is.
He claimed that Declan Rice was to blame for all that, because he went on to shout at the referee about the amount of stoppage time, and Rice intervened, and he said he's a great player, perhaps he shouldn't have been acting like a bodyguard for the referee.
Yeah. Now, this is a bit naughty, because they made up immediately, didn't they? Said Rice apologised to him, but you've gone for the tabloid headline here.
Yeah. Rude.
I mean, he did call him a bald cunny, though.
He did do that. That's fair.
Well, the Turkish players at Demiral, he after they obviously beat Austria on Tuesday night, he scored both goals, had a great time, but then he did a Wolves salute, which is associated with a far-right political movement called the Grey Wolves, who tried to kill a Pope once, so... strong.
He said he was just repeating something that fans were doing, didn't he? Which seems like is.
He said he's very proud of
I don't know what I think.
There's a lot of this going on.
A lot of this going on.
Have we got room for a bit more nonsense?
Yeah, I think we've got room for a bit more nonsense.
Here's Andy Carroll.
Ladle it in.
Andy Carroll was allegedly involved in a 1am street brawl in Mayfair in London this week.
Outside Sexy Fish.
Outside Sexy Fish.
The restaurant who wouldn't let Jess Glynn in because she was wearing a hoodie.
That's right.
And yet Andy Carroll's almost got his top off.
We need to stress that this didn't allegedly happen in Sexy Fish. So
Right, it's outside. Why do I know it's Sexy Fish then?
Well, I don't
Maybe
think
it started over a caper.
maybe the fish was ugly and he was like, I'm not having this.
Yeah, he apparently had a ripped shirt. So it sounds like he's managed to get in a fight in a restaurant in Mayfair, of all places.
Yeah.
Which is
Outside the restaurant, he'd eaten in Sexy Fish, and then he was fighting outside.
It's one of those
Sexy
shitty
Fish.
bougie ones, though.
It has to be bollocks, doesn't it? You must have been there, Pete.
Yes, I have actually. Yeah,
go.
it was all right. Yeah,
for
And you were dressed
listeners-
just like that.
it was COVID era Sexy Fish.
For listeners outside the UK, Mayfair is the most expensive stop on the Monopoly board. So that gives you an idea of what sort of part of London it is. You wouldn't expect this to happen.
It's like Maseratis with kind of like sort of very colourful Grand Theft Auto style wraps around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the street, parked on double yellows every single time.
I need to know more about this. How? Why?
Well, have you seen the video?
No.
He's kind of. It's not really. His shirt isn't. His shirt is torn. He's lost an arm.
An arm?
He's lost an arm. He's lost an arm of a shirt.
Of the shirt.
But he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be injured for his club side in France. But it's just good to see that he's sort of.
He's still got a bit of fight in him.
Yeah,
got a bit of fight in him.
he's like a Streets of Rage character now, isn't he? Maybe that's what it is. He's cleaning up the city.
I mean, to be fair, like Andy Carroll has a reputation for being
Eating chicken off the
pretty
floor.
good at fighting.
Chicken off the floor.
Eating fish off the floor, surely.
That's even worse, isn't it?
Floor fish.
Or if the fish is battered, I suppose.
Yeah,
you could,
what-
you could take the batter off.
Skate wing. I'd eat a skate wing.
Think
off
about
the
it. If a
floor.
banana fell on the floor, you
Skate
peel the
wing.
banana, you're fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'd eat a sardine off the floor.
No, you probably would. This is the man. Remember when we were in the airport once and I'd cut off the fat off like a chop or something I was having, he turned up and went, I'll have that, and he ate the fat.
Best part of the meat is the fat.
You are
the
right.
flavour
I have
is.
subsequently realised you're right, but I
Oh
wouldn't
wow!
have...
So you turn around and yet you criticise me for
Well,
teaching
no,
you
I
something.
wouldn't have
Surely
done that.
you pair the fat with the meat. You don't just have the fat.
No,
alone.
exactly. Yeah.
Yes, Jim, yes, you do.
But I've had the meat. It's in my belly, and they can meet up afterwards. All right. In tum tum tum.
We've moved on so quickly from how you'd eat a sardine off the floor Do you mean the street?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We should say, with regards to England, actually, because I said positivity,
Yeah.
I'm really hopeful, actually, that they do change the system, because they needed to change the system. And I honestly think that this will serve us well. And I loved Dion Dublin's confidence the other night on the BBC when he was asked about this.
Yeah.
And he just said, we'll beat them. We'll beat them. We've got better players. We're going to match them up. We'll beat them.
Matching them up does make me more confident.
Yeah,
and it also makes me think, if it's a sort of grindy, attritional, narrow win, I'm up for it. In a way where I kind of haven't been so much in the other games, because they feel like you should win them comfortably, essentially.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Portugal versus France is tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. A lot of chat about Cristiano Ronaldo and his tears on Monday, of course. Well, data has revealed that his heart rate was at its lowest in the whole game just before he took his penalty in the shootout. Isn't that incredible?
Absolute psychopath.
How do we have, it's all a bit American Psycho, isn't it? How do we have this data?
Yeah.
How do we have this sort of data?
Because the sports bras, I suppose.
But why have we why is it been
Because
released,
it's propaganda.
I don't even think it's a sports bra. I think it's a wristband that I think only certain players get involved with.
Because he wants to remind everybody that he's cool, calm and collected.
Right, okay. So
And,
do we not hear I need the whole data. I want to see what he does, and as discussed at length at the Ramble, what he does in front of the mirror when he gets home. I want the heart rate.
I don't want to know that.
I want it. What's going on?
Virgil van Dijk's sleep pattern has also been revealed by the same company that revealed Cristiano. Who are these people?
I know, yeah, and surely certain spikes should be kept private.
Yeah.
Shall
That's
we
what
say?
I mean, yeah.
Well,
Mirror time.
Maybe they'll be like, and when the third Dutch goal went in, Ronald Koeman got a semi on. Do you know what I mean?
What is the one where it's is it dolphins that can reduce their heart rate down to 0?
No, I've never asked them.
Diving, yeah.
No.
So
no
maybe the perfect footballer is a dolphin.
Okay.
Dolphins are like bastards as well, aren't they?
Right,
famously.
okay.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
Have you not seen films?
Have you not seen films?
I've seen cartoons, Jim. This is a game that people might think is going to be disappointing, the way Portugal were in the previous round and that France have generally been. But I would say that in the previous round,
France aren't going to let this slip the way that Portugal are playing.
I mean, France know how to grind out a 1-0 win, as they showed against Belgium.
But, Portugal have that in their locker as well, don't they?
Portugal have got a bit more. I wouldn't go on the previous round with regards to Portugal. They were playing, they knew what Slovenia were going to do, and Slovenia have proved to be very effective at that. And yes, Portugal were a bit disjointed. We've used the word disjointed a lot in this tournament, haven't we? Mainly when talking about our own country. But I think Portugal have got more to offer than that. They showed that in the group as well, and they can be very, very dynamic. I understand Ronaldo sometimes can reduce that dynamism, but let's be honest, he's going to start in this game, is he not?
Of course he is, and he's going to take every set piece.
More free kicks, please.
Actually, not the corners, because he wants to be on the end of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's weird, that, isn't it?
Although,
he rates himself as a massive ball, dead ball man, and yet he never takes a corner.
Mind you, though, I mean, he is one of the best headers of the ball we've ever seen, though. I mean, maybe he watched Austria versus Turkey or the opening minutes when that, and he goes, yeah, I can score from a corner. Don't be surprised if you see him trying to swing one in, Charlie Adams style.
8 p.m. though. It's a good day of football. That is some solid stuff. We're going to lose 2.
Are you going to be on your second teams. Chinese, or are you going to move on to
I'm going to have banana fritter.
Banana split.
I'm going to have banana fritter.
Well, fair enough.
I've got a big box of nerds at home. I'm going to eat that.
Oh, nice.
No.
And whatever's on the floor.
Going to be floor sardines, and I'll finish up with a big box of nerds. Delicious.
You dirty little man.
You dirty little rotter.
France are yet to score from open play in this
It's
tournament.
good stuff, isn't it?
Obviously, there was an own goal against Austria, but as in one of their players. Didier Deschamps, though, has tried to provide reassurances about Mbappe and his mask, because he's the man we're all looking to really to get going. And we are expecting France to do something, really, but again, this is very much like them under Deschamps. They're just so effective.
Yeah.
And again, against Belgium, it was a bit disappointing. The goal was, it was an own goal, really.
Yeah.
But they're through. And again, I understand with regards to England, Luke made the point that, if this was France or if this was Germany, they find a way. And we did give England a bit of credit of finding a way. But France have got pedigree for this, under Deschamps specifically. 3 finals recently, a World Cup win. It's there. I mean, it's funny, actually, when you look at some of the previous sides in that World Cup 2018 and even in the previous Euros, although they went out to Switzerland fairly early, we do miss a bit of Paul Pogba swaggering around in there.
Yeah. Also, I think the way they're using Griezmann is
Not getting the best out of him?
Well, exactly that, yeah. I was going to say wrong, I was also going to say a shame, and I think it's all three of those things.
Well, he was found out on the right wing against Belgium.
Yeah, and it's like he was, obviously, it's a little while along from the World Cup, but he was one of the best players at the World Cup in that role. Yeah. And it's surprising to me that they're not trying to utilise him in the same way, because he was the key to absolutely everything. Do you see any eventuality where this game is actually the barn burner of the two? Because when you look at the names on paper, you look at the teams, and actually some of Portugal's performances earlier in the tournament, this does have the potential to ignite. Maybe less so than Spain and Germany on paper, from what we've seen so far. But it's Portugal v France in a quarter-final.
It often doesn't go the way you think it's going to go. I think the one thing that a neutral should probably want in this game is an early goal for Portugal.
Yeah.
And I think France have got to come out and play after that. And also what we would see is a lot of slide tackling from João Palhinha. In fact, I want a downpour. I want a big downpour, because he said this once last season at Fulham, where he's not long, he's off to Bayern. They've had a bid accepted. So
that's been on the wall for a little while.
Up yours, everybody.
So what you want really, you want an early goal from Ronaldo. Okay. So they can get the podium out.
Yep.
Do the ceremony. You can get all the
that out of the way.
Ticker tape out, and just clear that all off the pitch, and then get on with the game.
Yeah.
See the best of France, hopefully.
And then a big old downpour, and Palhinha is just sliding around.
Breaking every bone in his body, so he doesn't
Ticker
move.
tape's still there as well.
Yeah.
So that's
I think it's. I know what you mean. It wouldn't be surprising if this was the better game, just on the way things go, on Mad Jens's logic. But we shall see. And again, this side of the draw, the winners of those two games play each other.
Yeah.
It really is. There's a lot of quality there, and we hope that they flex their muscles a little bit. Now, before we go, everybody, I want to bring a story to the table. An Islamist preacher called Anjem Chowdhury is facing criminal charges, including that he directed a group called Al Muhajirun, which is now banned under UK terror laws.
Why is he getting a mention? Is the question.
And I know what you're thinking, ladies and gentlemen. You're thinking, this is quite a
2015?
This is quite a gear change for the Football Ramble. What on earth are they doing?
We're starting a new podcast called Football Ramble Terror Hunters.
Don't worry, it will all swing right back round in just a moment. So, so this chap and a banned group under UK terror laws. His defence is that the group that he's been linked to actually wound up in 2004, and this tag has stuck to him. And when he was asked if his role in the group is what he's most famous for, he said yes. It was the Kevin Keegan effect. I've never moved on from him playing for Liverpool. If you ask about Kevin Keegan, people say he plays football for Liverpool. People look at me and think that I'm a part of that bad terror group. I think this is the best one.
Liverpool. Is it the best one?
This is the best one.
Because no one thinks that.
No one thinks that.
Way down.
Like,
more people go, the bloke from the Sugar Puffs advert, before they say that these days.
Like, Chowdhury's a fucking idiot. He's been an idiot for a very long time.
Yeah.
He's the face of militant Islam all around the world. But he's just a bloke from London who's a fucking idiot, right?
He's a prat.
All agree.
And yet he's dragged Kevin Keegan into literally being on the no-fly list.
Imagine that.
He can't go on holiday.
None of the stuff in the garage is mine. Like, what's going on? I've never met this man.
I had some trouble with my roses. I only bought one bag of fertiliser.
I googled some things. I was just interested. I was just curious.
It's the best Keegan
Get off me back!
Because he's got nothing to do with it. How on earth has his name popped up with this?
Kevin Keegan's not a
lunatic?
Mac man. He's an ASA PC man, I think, definitely.
Oh, man.
He was missold it in PC World. It's full of viruses.
That's not my search history.
It's Anjem Chowdhury's search history. Chowdhury, you bastard. You got me again. Oh, dear.
It's stunning stuff. Will that man ever get a break?
Have we had Kevin Keegan's take on the
I don't think we should.
September 11th attacks?
I don't think we should.
Right.
I don't think we should. Poor old Kev.
Poor Keggy.
It is extremely unfair in the highest possible degree that his name is
the emphasis on extreme.
Thank you for watching a clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an upload. A single upload. Don't miss out on the uploads. The uploads are important.